As we move into the second half of 2022, the heavyweight division of boxing is hotter than ever. We all know that Fury and Usyk hold all the major titles, but there will be some crucial fights in the next few weeks. So it's high time we look at some of the top heavyweights. This video will rank fighters based on their skills, accomplishments in the ring, title wins, and future potential. First off, Tyson Fury. Fury is still unbeaten and comes out on top of our rankings after he beat Dillian Whyte so well at Wembley Stadium in April. It only took him 6 rounds to stop him. Fury boxed beautifully to confuse Whyte. He was almost a stone lighter than he'd been for the 3 fights against Deontay Wilder. Then, near the end of round 6, he finished the fight with a picture-perfect uppercut that put the body snatcher on his back. Right after the fight, Fury said he would quit, but we've heard all this before. Why would he quit when he's only 34 years old and at the top of his game? Everyone would love a unification fight with Usyk next. We don't know about that, but we may get that long-awaited blockbuster between Fury and Joshua if contracts are written. Up next, Alexander Usyk. In August, when they fought again in Saudi Arabia, Usyk showed again that he has the guts to match his undisputed boxing skills. How? By beating Anthony Joshua. He was able to keep the heavyweight title, so he won in September 2021 from the IBF, WBA, and WBO. He did it by coming back from deep waters in round 9 to finish strong and win by a split decision. The Ukrainian's fight was exhilarating, and he's still on track to reach his goal of winning both the cruiserweight and heavyweight titles. He's now just one Fury-sized step away, but he'll probably need some time to recover from his rematch with AJ before he can fight the Gypsy King. After Fury gave up the title, Usyk was also the new heavyweight champion of Ring Magazine, followed by Deontay Wilder. Even though Wilder lost to Fury in their long-awaited trilogy match, he left the ring with his shield and a better reputation. The Bronze Bomber almost got the redemption he wanted when he knocked Tyson down twice in the 4th round. But just like in 2018 LA, he couldn't do the necessary and nail the incredible Fury to the canvas. Deontay, who weighed in at a career-high 238 pounds, looked physically spent by the middle of the fight. He had a lot of heart and guts to keep going until Fury gave him the knockout blow in the second-to-last round. He's still a significant threat to any heavyweight because of his huge right hand, and he said he'll be back in October to fight the Finn, Robert Alenius. That'll be a tough fight. If he wins that WBC Eliminator, he might fight Andy Ruiz Jr., which would be even more fun to watch. Moving on to Anthony Joshua. Joshua reached the top of the heavyweight mountain twice, but after losing 3 of his last 5 fights, his career at the highest level is at a crossroads. That second loss to Usyk in Saudi Arabia happened after his first fight with his new trainer. After that, AJ was outside the heavyweight title picture, but he's got a quick and unlikely chance to get back in it in a few weeks. Joshua's got a knockout to win percentage of 91.67% and an overall knockout percentage of 63.64% in world heavyweight title fights. The fight with Fury on December 3rd is getting close, but talks are still tense. Will it get done at last? Next, Joe Joyce. The 37-year-old Londoner makes our top 5 for the first time after knocking out former WBO heavyweight King Joseph Parker in Manchester. It was the fight of his career. The Juggernaut is a scary threat to any top heavyweight because he has the most robust chin and can take everything thrown at him, and then lands his brutal power shots. Joe may not be pretty to look at, but as that win over Parker showed, he's very effective. It was amazing how he didn't move when Joseph struck him, and the left hook that ended the fight in round 11 was brutally beautiful. He's unusual because he's an older man playing a sport that young men usually play. He also got into the professional game late after spending much of his youth trying to do well as an amateur. Because of this, Joyce has to do things differently than most people, and the road ahead will be hard. He's got excellent stamina and can keep punching without tiring himself out. This is important because the heavyweight division is getting faster and more exciting. For now, Joyce, who must now fight for the WBO title, is still ranked lower than AJ. Still, we think Joe will win that fight if it ever takes place. Not to mention Andy Ruiz Jr. In their fight for the WBC title eliminator in Los Angeles, Ruiz beat Luis Ortiz with punches, but it wasn't a convincing win. Andy was only fighting for the second time since January 2019. He put Ortiz on the ground 3 times, which helped him win by scores of 113 to 112 and 114 to 111. He started boxing when he was only 19. On March 28, 2009, he fought Miguel Ramirez in his first fight and knocked out Ramirez in the first round. He fought for the WBO title against Joseph Parker on December 10, 2016 when he was 27. By then, he had 29 professional fights under his belt. Parker beat Ruiz Jr. by a majority decision after 12 rounds. Aside from those times and some of his signature runs, he let Ortiz, who was getting older, set the pace for long long stretches and didn't do enough to move up our list. Let's learn more about Joseph Parker. Parker started boxing professionally when he was 20. In 2012, he fought Dean Garmansway in his first fight and won by TKO in the second round. Despite being knocked out by Joyce recently, the former WBO champion remains ranked 7th. He didn't look bad when he fought the Juggernaut in a brutal fight for 11 rounds at the AO Arena in Manchester. He threw some big punches at Joyce, but like many heavyweights before him, he found that they didn't even hurt. At 255 pounds, he was the heaviest he'd ever been in his career. This might have hurt his speed and stamina a little. It looked like he would lose in the second half of the fight. He's still a good match for most of the top heavyweights. Coming up, Filip Hrgović. Even though the Scary Croat wasn't at his best when he beat Jalé Jean on the undercard of Usyk vs. Joshua 2. The win was enough to make him the mandatory challenger for Usyk's IBF title. Hrgović deserved his chance to get closer to a world title after beating everyone who stood in his way so far in his professional career. He's won all 15 of his matches so far without losing. Of his 15 wins, he's knocked out 12 of his opponents. This means that 80% of his opponents have been stopped. He's boxed 61 rounds, which means his professional fights last 4.1 rounds on average. We thought he'd have an easier time with the big but weak Zhang. Still, we're sure that Hrgović, like Joyce, will be a tough fight for any top heavyweight. Next, Frank Sanchez. By beating another unbeaten prospect, Efe Ajagba, Sanchez showed that he's got what it takes to win a world title by beating him. It was a unanimous decision on the undercard of Fury vs. Wilder 3 in Las Vegas. The Cuban Flash was too smooth and bright for Nigerian star Ajagba, who looked like he couldn't pull the trigger because it was such a puzzle. He's in our top 10 because he has quick hands, good movement, and excellent footwork. Even though not all of the fans in T-Mobile Arena were happy with his win over Ajagba, his pedigree is clear for all to see. He'll fight Carlos Negron next on the undercard of the Wilder vs. Helenius fight. Finally, Michael Hunter. Before his fight with Jerry Forrest in New York in December 2021, the Bounty was one of the heavyweights people tried to avoid the most. Hunter didn't have a good night though. He ended up with a draw, which ruined his hopes of making a big statement. Still, he's got some potential. He might have to wait a little while before he can join the best. He'd been set to fight Hughie Fury in July for a WBA title eliminator, but they delayed the fight because Hughie got sick. The new date has been set for the end of October in Birmingham. So far, 14 of the 23 people Hunter has fought have been knocked out. His KO rate is 60.9% at the moment. 14 of his 20 wins have been by knockout. And on that note, that's a wrap for this video. Which of these heavyweights has the most potential? Is there anyone we missed out on? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.